Salutations friends, welcome back to my channel. There we go. Hi, welcome back to my channel. Today is going to be a kind of just little sit down chit chat. I'm going to let you know what's been going on with my channel, with me, what's coming up, new things that are changing very soon. And I also wanted to kind of get into a little bit of the drama that's been going on the channel too. I usually try to stay away from it, but this is something I kind of wanted to talk about as well. So if you like these types of chit-chatty videos, and then keep watching. First thing I'm going to discuss is the one thing I think that most of you guys might not care about, but might want to hear, and I'm going to be discussing Patreon. Now, I have discussed this a little bit at length at night when I was really drowsy on my Instagram feed. I do try to do live videos a few nights a week, but I kind of wanted to get into Instagram. I wanted to get into Patreon in just a little bit and explain to you how I've seen it used successfully, ways that it's been abused, and if it's something I would ever do on my channel. Aside from the fragrance community, Patreon is very, very common. I know my brother-in-law runs a very successful podcast, and one of the reasons why it's such a success is because of Patreon. The listeners and subscribers and people who have been part of the family for, oh my gosh, almost 10 years now, actively fund that program. They're able to regularly put out content, they're able to put out very high quality, well-produced content, and they're not really answering to anybody or any advertiser, so they can talk about controversial things, they can talk about things that maybe wouldn't be considered advertiser friendly, and they can also completely be themselves and be unscripted in a lot of ways. And when it comes down to Patreon, I see it as being a ridiculously fantastic, powerful tool, especially for people who create entertainment. So if you're creating artwork, if you're creating music, if you're creating a news program, a podcast, Patreon is a fantastic way to help you get funding, especially if you're not able to get the funding that you need, but you have a large audience who wants to hear from you quite regularly. Now, if you were to create content for free and have a Patreon, is that fine? Is that accessible? What would work? And that's kind of the question and the concern and the divisiveness or divisiveness, you guys know I can't say words, that I see within the fragrance community, specifically on YouTube. Why do creators need a Patreon? Why don't they need a Patreon? And ultimately what it comes down to is the relationship and the give and take and the transaction between the patrons and the people creating content. Now, before I go into this too much, let me just throw that out there that with my content and my format, I don't see myself ever utilizing Patreon. It wouldn't fit with my channel. I'm not against it. I'm not against other people using it. It just wouldn't be for me. The type of content that I create has to do, usually revolves around reviews and recommendations and hauls. That's right, you guys, you know about my haul videos. They get pretty popular on my channel. I'm going to get more into them later on in this video, but because a lot of my content is me sharing with you guys my acquisitions, talking to you guys as a fragrance collector, I don't know if there's any type of content I could give you guys or anything I could give you guys that would be valuable enough for me to feel comfortable asking for donations. Because ultimately, if you guys were giving me donations, it would just go into adding new fragrances into my closet. I don't really have a need any other way other than acquiring new fragrances, and I don't feel like that's anyone else's responsibility but my own to do. So Patreon wouldn't work for me in my format. Ultimately, when it comes down to it, I feel like if you're going to have a Patreon, if that's the route you're going to go, if that's the type of format and business model that you're going to have, where you're going to rely on donations from patrons to fund your channel, it's like they are your boss. You're already our boss, because when it comes down to making money from AdSense and being given opportunities to go to events and to get stuff to review, we are given those opportunities because of our subscribers. If it wasn't for you guys, we wouldn't have any of that. So I already think that we already owe everything that we are to you. And so to ask more of you, we would have to give way more of what we have. or what we could give. It doesn't mean to me that you can't find a nice medium where it's a win-win situation. And I think Daver talked about that in one of his videos pretty well. You want both people to feel comfortable in content and both people to get equally out of the situation. This person needs this amount of money, this person requires this amount of stuff in return. Now with Kickstarters and things like that, it's a little bit easier because the rewards are usually big steep discounts because you're pre-ordering things, or maybe you get like a package. If you're like, if it's a band, maybe you get the CD and a t-shirt and a poster and some merch. With YouTube content, specifically within the fragrance community, it's a little bit harder for us to give back to you guys. Yeah, you guys could give me $100 a month. I buy a $100 bottle of perfume, I wear it, I use it, and then I give it to one of you guys, but that's still kind of not how I figure out how it works. So a lot of times what I see is what creators do is they'll give up their time. They have their free content, their main content on their page, but actually what they're giving back is more one-on-one time. I know Tiff has a thing where her Patreon for like $1,000, once a year she'll actually fly you out and you can watch her film. And I think content like rewards like that and things like that are great ways to give back, especially if people want to see how videos are made or how the creators, the process of creating their videos, of editing and shooting and things like that. And so I think giving back to your subscribers the best way that you can through one-on-one and kind of giving them a sneak peek behind the scenes is a really great way to do it. Because a lot of times when we're creating content, and I know I'm not the best person to talk about this, but we actually try to maintain a level of professionality. And I know that's not a word. I know that's not a word, but we try to be as professional as possible and have as much of a polished product as possible. Because we're not just doing reviews for you guys, we're also representing people's brands. Even if I'm not getting sent something to review, if I'm reviewing something from my own collection that I paid full price for, I am still giving that brand a platform, and I want to give that brand as much respect as possible. If they do something that I think is disrespectful, then I might not, you know, perform or care as much. But if it's something that I love that I'm reviewing, I want to be as respectful as possible to that brand, again, even though I bought the product myself and they didn't ask me to review it. So I might have editing better. I try not to swear like a sailor like I normally do in real life. And I try to give the review as much integrity and honesty as possible without mismashing my words or maybe using too much of my love or hate for those types of products, much of my personal bias into the review. And a lot of times subscribers want to see something a little bit more genuine. You want to see something a little bit more raw. You want to see how we are normally day to day. And that's why I love watching people when they do live streams with any of the creators, not just in the fragrance community and the beauty community and people who do news and podcasts. I love seeing people creating and then I love seeing the final product. And so I feel like if that's the type of person who is interested in that content within the fragrance community, I feel like that's definitely something that the creators could give back. You'll get more of their time, you'll get a little bit more access to more personal one-on-one time, and you'll actually in some cases get really nice rewards. It's also really easy to have that situation be abused. You could easily say, I want you to fund my lifestyle, and I don't really agree with that. You shouldn't have to fund anybody's lifestyle. They should be living within their means. If they need you to keep up their lifestyle and pretenses, and they're doing something wrong in their business model and they need to readjust that. So I don't think that funding anybody's lifestyle is something that is for Patreon. It's something more for charity, and that should be more in regards to sending them bottles of your perfume or maybe sending them donations through PayPal. But when it comes to Patreon, you're actually almost creating a contract with these people to create a specific kind of content and give them a specific type of rewards. And as long as those needs are being met and everybody is happy and fulfilled and getting everything that they need from both sides, I see nothing wrong with Patreon. As long as the people who are giving money are getting their money's worth, Patreon is actually a fantastic tool. But as long as it works with the platform, as long as it works with the content and the creator, everybody is different. Which is why, although I think Patreon is a great way, and I've seen in a lot of different cases, specifically regarding my brother-in-law, and a lot of art projects, and a lot of passion projects for people that Patreon has funded to be a huge success and a great tool, it's not something that I think would work well for my channel, which is why it's something I wouldn't do. It's really up to you guys to make up your own decision when it comes to Patreon. It's not up to me to tell you what I think, and it's not up to other people to tell you what you think. I feel like this is one of those opinions where everybody is right. I don't think anybody is wrong. I think everybody is right. The people that view this as a waste of money, the people that view this as a cash grab, I can definitely see where they're coming from. And I can also see the people who support the platform and the tool and Patreon in general. I don't feel like anyone's wrong. I feel like everyone's right. And I feel like when it comes down to it, people assume that when it comes to fragrance reviews on YouTube, you can find reviews on Fragrantica, Base Notes, and other places for free. Why should you pay for the content? And that's absolutely right. But I think that when it comes down to it, when you're paying for content, you're not paying for the reviews, you're supporting the person, you're supporting their dreams, you're supporting their projects because you want to see more from that person. It's kind of like if you're commissioning an artwork, or if you're getting something engraved on like a watch or something personal. It's personalizing your experience. And I feel like Patreon can be a great tool. So I'm not going to talk about Patreon anymore, but I kind of did want to devote a decent amount of time to that, because I feel like what I've seen within the community, at least in the beginning, like a week ago when Jeremy mentioned this video, and I've seen other people have Patreon a lot longer, is people didn't quite, it's not that they didn't know what Patreon was, but I feel like people didn't understand the role it could play within the fragrance community, because it is very established and respected in other communities. When it comes to beauty, art, media, music, it's a fantastic tool, and it's been used successfully, and it's a great way to also keep your creators in check, because if you're the one giving them money, you do have a say in the type of content that they create, and you can let them know that you are happy or unhappy with the route they're going by removing your patronage. It's a great way to keep everybody responsible, it's a great way to keep everybody in check, and it's also a great tool to really help the fragrance community flourish, because anybody I've seen use Patreon successfully has really been able to do amazing things because of the support they've gotten from their subscribers, their followers, their listeners, and their audience. That long, drawn out, controversial topic is done, and I'm not going to discuss it anymore in this video, at least I don't think. But if you guys have any questions or concerns or comments, let me know in the comment section below. I'm open to this being a discussion. You can tell me I'm wrong. Like I said, I feel like this is something that needs to be discussed, because I feel like it's something that's not going to go away. Definitely people are going to be asking for support, and people are going to wonder why you would or wouldn't support these people, and I figured if there's conversation, that maybe one side can educate the other side and let them know why they feel the way that they do, because again, I don't think anybody's wrong. I feel the people that feel hurt and betrayed and disgusted by this, I can understand. I can also completely understand the people that support it. So I feel like this needs to be an ongoing discussion within the community, and if you guys want to have it on this video, feel free. So let's talk about what's happening with my channel, because there is a few changes that's going to be happening very soon. First and foremost, one of the videos that is my most popular video, the type of videos that I do on my channel, are my haul videos. They are very big, they're very opulent. I don't try having them be so big, I just kind of forget what I buy, and at the end of the month I had this box filled with crap, and I'm like, how did I get 30 bottles? But the reason why this year has been so big with fragrances, is because I have had extra money lying around, because our businesses have been kind of running on autopilot and we haven't been really doing anything to move forward. What's happening next year is my husband and I are really going to be investing in our business. We're going to be investing specifically in our jewelry business. So we're going to be investing in new materials, new workstations, new equipment, marketing and advertising, and that requires a lot of money, a lot more than you guys would think, specifically month to month. On top of that, we need to upgrade some of our equipment for our glass, and I have a lot of art things that I need to get my area in tip-top condition, because I have a lot of fantastic art projects planned. Some of them I think you guys are going to be really excited for, especially if you like perfume. So it does require a lot of money, and it's going to requiring us tightening our belt, and that starts off with luxury products, which means I'm not going to have the funds to be able to purchase what I've been purchasing. So I might be able to get 1 or 2 bottles a month, and they'll probably be very specific bottles because I'm not going to be able to just buy all willy-nilly. So if my hauls are bigger, it'll be because a company has decided to send me a few extra bottles to review, or maybe I did a swap or something like that. But generally overall, my hauls are going to be very small, maybe at most 3 to 4 bottles. So they're not going to be big like they were before. So if that's something you guys really liked, next year is going to be very bare bones when it comes down to my hauls. Also, what's going to be happening next year, we're going to try and film a few trial videos. I mentioned it before, and it's really looking like it's going to happen very soon, is that I'm going to be starting a pearl education channel. Now, if you guys don't know, one of my businesses as a jewelry designer, and I work primarily with pearl jewelry. I work freshwater pearls, saltwater pearls, Tahitian pearls, golden South Sea pearls, Japanese Koya pearls. I really work with just about everything in a variety of different price points, from $20 to $30 to several $1,000s. And when it comes down to that business, a lot of people don't know how to purchase pearls. Some people don't know why pearls are valued at so much, or some people get ripped off when they go to the store and they buy a strand of pearls for, say, $1,000, and it might only be worth $100. So I wanted to do, and this is something that my husband and I wanted to do in tandem with our business, is to do a pearl education channel. We talk about different pearls. Obviously, we will use our pearls as reference, but tell you guys why you're paying so much money for pearls, how to purchase pearls, how to not get swindled, how to find a good deal, and things like that. And that's something that we have been in the works with for the past few months. We've been really researching the proper equipment. We've been getting certified in different courses so that we could really kind of have a little bit more than just our experience, but actually have some type of certificate behind us. And also at the same time looking to see what was out there in regards to pearl education channels. Now there are some fantastic businesses out there who do pearl jewelry, who have YouTube channels, who do live streams on their videos. So we're not trying to compete with them. We're actually trying to work in tandem with them. We're trying to educate the consumer when it comes down to pearl jewelry, because there's a lot of misconceptions and a lot of people who don't have a good knowledge of pearl jewelry. Why would you spend $5,000 for a pendant from Mikimoto when you could get the same pearl pendant with the same amount of, the same weight of fine jewelry, and maybe they both have a diamond in them, the same size and the same quality? Why are you spending $5,000 and $400 on this one? Kind of wanted to talk a little bit about that and have it be kind of like a consumer education channel. So that's something we've been working on. We've been doing a lot of research, we've been getting everything together, and I'm really super duper excited for it. Now, because that is going to be a little bit more of a professional channel, not so much like how my reviews are here, which are consumer reviews, that's going to be more as me as a professional and an expert, because I do consider myself to be somewhat an expert when it comes to pearls. I've been studying and researching them for probably over a decade now. I've been collecting them for a very long time and working with them for equally as long. We need to make sure that the format and the production of those videos is on par with the type of quality content that we're going to be putting out. Now that means that my setup is going to get a lot better, because if I have a really nice setup with a really good camera, I'm going to use that to film my fragrance videos too. And it's one of the reasons why this has been put off so much. Over a year ago, I was initially just going to set something up really quickly, and then as we were figuring out if we were going to do this pearl channel, we've been researching more and more and more about what we need, and I'm like, okay, we can set this up, but no, we can't do it like that. Then we did test videos, and it's just constantly changing. So it's easy for me to film these videos here like this, and then get that ready, and then once that's set up, then I can move up to there. So hopefully sometime next year, around February, I'll be able to have a more professional setup with better editing for both my videos for fragrance on top of my pearl channel, which will be coming very soon. And you might even see my husband in front of the camera. Another project I have working on, aside from the secret art project for fragrance, is one of my businesses, as you guys know, my hands in a lot of different pots. I actually do t-shirt design, so I sell t-shirts on a variety of different platforms. I've sold designs to different companies and things like that in the past. But ultimately, what I'm going to be doing is, and what I have been doing for years, is I love to doodle. I doodle on everything. I draw on everything. If you see a receipt or a notebook or anything, it has doodles on it. I'm a doodler. So, for the longest time, I've actually been kind of doodling and drawing fragrances, fragrance bottles, different parts of the fragrance aspect like distilling, and just really kind of designing these really interesting, what I think interesting designs for shirts that revolve around fragrance. Now, I wasn't going to really mention this on my channel, but actually when I talked about it on my live stream, you guys seemed really interested in it, so I figured I'd mention it here too. I'm going to be selling them. I'll link when I do. You guys seem interested in checking them out. They're going to be sold through Amazon, and they're going to be really inexpensive. And the reason why I'm choosing to sell them through Amazon has mostly to do with customer service and quality control. Now, I sell a lot of my t-shirts on other sites, and Amazon has a pretty good t-shirt and a pretty good business model when it comes to t-shirts. I can sell them for really inexpensively, and you guys, if you don't like them for any reason or if you're unhappy with them, you guys get your money back like so fast. If anything's lost in the mail, Amazon will have it covered. You guys would have no problems when it comes down to any issues with anything that you purchased. Now, this isn't going to be official Beauty Meow merch. It's nothing to do with Beauty Meow. It's just that I've designed t-shirts for several years now. They're very popular. I make a good chunk of my money from them, actually. And it's something that I thought would be a great way for me to kind of reach out and share that part of my life with you. And if you guys like perfume and t-shirts, there you go. You don't have to. I'm not going to make a huge big deal about it when the designs go up, but it is something I figured I'd mention to you guys because, again, on the live stream, you guys were really super duper into it, and that was really exciting for me. Not least, the thing I wanted to talk about is kind of an update on my passion project. I get asked this a lot. You guys are asking me what's going on with that project and am I still designing my own perfume? And the answer is yes, that project is still open, but I am at a standstill right now. I don't know which direction to go into. I'm trying to find the right way to move forward. I'm not going to be able to make the fragrance in my house or where I work because it's not a sterile environment. I don't have the proper equipment, and I'll be completely honest, if I'm going to be asking you guys for money, I want to give you the best product possible. So I'm trying to find a different way. I'm trying to maybe work with a lab or seeing if I can create a specific bespoke fragrance that could be sold. I'm not quite sure. I mean, I have one thing in mind and one person in mind, and I've reached out to them. I'm unsure if they're going to be able to do it, so I'm kind of like crossing my fingers and really super duper hoping. But I also understand that I'm also not at the right place to be able to give them what they deserve. So I'm unsure of how it's going to move forward at this point, but it is going to move forward, and once I learn more about that, I will definitely be updating you on that. Hopefully by this time next year I'll have a product for you guys. So I'm really excited to move forward with it. I know exactly what I want. I know exactly how I want it to smell. So I've gotten past the conceptual stage. I know what I want now. It's figuring out the logistics of getting it made. So that's where I'm at right now. Guys, that's this little chit-chat talking video, giving you guys an update on everything, talking about Patreon. Again, the Patreon thing I know is very controversial, and I try to shy away from controversy and drama within the community, mostly because I'm on the sidelines. Like, I'm not really, like, I don't feel like I'm a part of the fragrance reviewer community, but I do definitely feel like I'm part of the fragrance community. So when it comes down to drama within the YouTube community, I just don't feel like I'm a part of it. I feel like I'm just watching on the sidelines with you guys. But I did want to address it and let you guys know what I thought, because when it comes down to things like this, it's up to the content creators to not stay silent, but to let you guys know what we think. So I don't have anything wrong with Patreon. I don't think there's anything wrong with Patreon, as long as the person asking for money isn't abusing it and is giving back accordingly to the people who are donating money. I think it's a fantastic tool. Again, I touched on a variety of other things in this video. I don't do chit-chat videos as often as I used to, and I definitely want to do them more. So thank you guys so much for sitting through this long video, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!